Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us in this morning service. It's been 1 week since I've been in this service here with you guys, officiating the service, but I've been present daily. It's been a pleasure in these studies that we have been doing every morning. Today, I'd like to share with you a little bit about a comment I heard from one of the members given the study session this past week. A member came to me and said, "Minister, Jorei by raising the hand is so much easier than serving in the work of Jorei through Sone." And I stopped to think about that. And yes, apparently it seems much easier in the raising of our hands. But why is that? In reality, when we raise our hand to channel Jorei, we can see that we are doing something. We can quantify that we actually did something to serve. So it's easier for us who live in this very material world to do such practice. But Meisho Sama teaches us that the true action that brings about true virtue, that has real value to God, is a hidden virtue. And if we stop to think about the act of surrendering in itself is the utmost hidden virtue that one can do. Why is that? Because we ourselves cannot measure if it works or not. And I think that we have such a difficulty to practice in this new way because we are so used to materially and physically quantifying what it is we are doing. But Meisho Sama says once any practice, anything is done, any activity is done, where it can be seen and valued by human beings, then its merit has only a human level merit. All the virtue, as we call intoku, the hidden virtue, that God would like to receive and bestow, is gone because it's been seen, it's been measured. And when we practice and serve in the work, the divine work of Jorei through Sone, only God can truly see and know if what we are doing is of any use, if it's truly helping anybody. It's a very interesting concept. And thank God for that. Because the minute we can see and quantify something, our ego takes over. And we want to be able to show ourselves or to validate what we're doing, even to ourselves. And then no longer is that God-centered, but a human-centered action. There are two poems that I'd like to share with you today that I found very interesting. One says, Meisho Sama says, "Good actions, no matter how good and right your deeds are, if you do not know God, those actions are usually self-seeking." And the second poem, "My followers, I will tell you the kind of person God loves. They are those who walk their life with perseverance and tireless effort, nourishing great hope in their heart." This is very interesting. So here, Meisho Sama is talking about our deeds in the first poem, our actions. If we do not know God, then they're usually self-seeking. Well, let's think about that. It's not the fact of just saying, "I believe in God and I'm doing a good action." When we really recognize the true God, the true living God that lives in the center of our consciousness, in the center of our soul, then everything that we do, everything that we set out to strive for, has to be to please God, to serve God. to work for God, because we are serving the true God. We're not just saying, I believe in God and I'm going to do a good deed. Everything that we live and breathe turns its efforts. We turn our efforts to truly serve God. So our deeds become God-centered. Our soning starts to serve God. How can I please God? And then in the second poem, Meishu Sama shows us how we can please God. He says, I tell you the kind of person God loves. They are those who walk their life with perseverance and tireless effort, nourishing great hope in their heart. So it's a constant, tireless effort and perseverance to nourish hope in our hearts, in the center of our soul. That's where God resides. That's where our effort and our perseverance has to aim for, toward God, in the center of our consciousness. Only then can we be truly appreciated by and loved by God. The kind of person God loves, Meishu states it clearly, those who are focusing in nourishing great hope in their heart, a tireless effort to do so. The work of Soning, the divine work of Jorei through Soning, is the greatest tool that God bestowed upon us, where through it we are being nurtured and taught how to truly nourish that great hope in our hearts, how to truly serve God. And it is something that nobody can quantify, not even ourselves. It is a true hidden virtue. We are so blessed to learn how to really serve in the age of light, the time of where spirit precedes the physical. When we do anything and we can quantify it, it is a physical act. What precedes that, more important, is the spiritual aspect of that. So today we are learning to truly serve God through the consciousness, through our mind, through the soning, of surrendering everything back to God, all that we see, all that we experience, to praise and glorify God, following the footsteps that Meishu Sama did himself. Everything he did was to praise and glorify God. Everything he created was to teach us this path back to the center of our hearts, to the center of our soul, to learn, to serve, and glorify God, to become God's children, messiahs, to be born anew. As we continue today, I'd like to leave you with a small thought in mind. This service is being held here in the church, in a physical building. But the true church, the only church, the real church, is at the center of our souls. As it says in the Bible, as Meishu Sama also phrased and quoted, we are the temple of God. Each and every one of us is the true church of God. Our souls, which bear the name Messiah, are the temple of God. In the center of our souls, God resides. And God is alive. That is the true church. The service that we are holding together here today, in unity and soning, is reflected here in this physical building and where you are right now. But it truly is taking place in heaven, in the center of our souls. And that church is the most important place for each and every one of us, because that's where true hope is being nurtured, where God is nurturing us to be born anew as His children, where God is receiving all of our thoughts and feelings constantly, 24/7. So as we finish the morning prayer today, I'd like you to keep that in mind as much as you can today. I am at church. I'm not referring to a physical building. I'm referring to the true church. I am living within God's church, in the center of our souls. If we can remember that during the day, and through everything we experience, we acknowledge that we're surrendering back to God in the center of that temple through the name Messiah, I believe we'll be accumulating an infinite amount of hidden virtue. This virtue is not for us. It's for God, to glorify God, to serve God. So as we go forth today, please remember the most important church where all creation is taking place is in the center of our souls, in heaven where God resides, the land of beginning. And there God, through His immense love and light, is shining everything, all our feelings, all our thoughts that He wishes for us to surrender back to Him. Let us practice these hidden virtues in the true work of Joreh. Yes, this is much harder than raising our hand. Why? Because we have to consciously make a constant effort to remind ourselves and to go back to that place. To be consciously aware that we are there in the center of our souls through the name Messiah. And God is nurturing us there. Meshach Sama himself says, for example, Joreh, when we are talking and chattering, or we're just raising the hand but our thought is not in tune, it's not Joreh. So we are quantifying something physically and we're not actually doing it. Let's practice in this real work of Joreh. Let's serve in this real work of Joreh, surrendering everything back to God in this church that exists in the center of each one of our souls, the true church of God, where God is alive and receiving all our heart, all our feelings. Let's do this with perseverance and tirelessness, because God placed us here to serve Him in that way. I'd like to make a small announcement. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m., we have our monthly service. It'll begin in the southeast area, at 12 p.m. here in the northeast area, and at 2 p.m. in the west coast. This is New York time, 10, 12, and 2. In California time, it's going to be 7 a.m., 9 a.m., and 11 a.m. Join us. If you'd like to participate in the service and you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe either to Facebook or to YouTube so that you can get an alert when the service starts. That way you don't lose track of time, and you can also support our channel in that way. Okay, so please join us. If you have not been able to register for study sessions here on Facebook, we have the links available at the bottom of the comments. You can join us in the study sessions every Tuesday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. And you can contact us by message if you're not on Facebook and you'd like to reach us during the study sessions. We're here daily also for morning prayers where we're having these study sessions. And I really appreciate your participation. Let's serve in this true church of God, doing the actual hidden virtues that God and Meshach Sama so wish for through the practice of Soni, surrendering everything to the true church of God in the center of our souls. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a blessed day. We hope to see you tomorrow.